Hey guys, welcome to the Into the Microwave Oven podcast. Here today are your hostesses, Bree.
And Kieran?
Yeah.
Threw a curveball at me. What was that for?
Wanted to see what you do. You did the right thing, so congratulations, I guess.
Thanks. Okay, you said Bree a second time, too, you know?
Yeah, I'm very proud of you, actually.
Yeah.
Sound so proud of yourself. Anyway, so today's a Halloween episode. Halloween. We love Halloween in this house. I don't know about you. I don't know about you.
Yay.
So, scary stories. We're gonna do scary stories today. So, Bree, do you want to tell us which scary story you're talking about, or do you just want to jump into it?
Probably jump into it.
No spoilers. Okay, so we'll do a no spoiler thingy. So, do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
You can. Well, should we alternate?
I mean, alternate.
Because I have two, remember?
No, ooh. Okay.
Can I just use one?
No. We're definitely doing both of yours. It's just, I don't know do you want to do it in a bulk, or do you want to do it process one, go into mine, and then process the next? Actually, that's the second one sounds better. So yeah, you first. You first with one of your stories. We talk about it. We go to mine. We talk about it. Then yours again. We talk about it. Outro. Woo!
Okay, so... Okay, yeah, I can do that.
Ooh, spooky season. Actually,
Yeah.
if you're gonna do trick-or-treating, or if you're gonna dress up, what are you gonna dress up as?
Oh, I might go trick-or-treating, but I don't think I'm gonna dress up as anything.
Ooh, that's okay.
I did not prepare at all.
Just put on a mask,
I do have one of those.
Yes, you do. You use the same one every year, and I love you for it.
Oh, wow. I used to have two. Well, I had one, and then it broke, and then I got another one.
Aww.
Or something.
Me and my sister, me and Juniper, we're going as Mabel and Dipper, and we're excited.
Nice.
Hey, without further ado, let's get into it.
Why can't they see me? I'm right here, so why? Can't move. I try and try and try again, but I cannot move past this spot. I cannot go any further than where I am now. I'm not used to being alone. Oh, how did I end up here? Why am I here? It was supposed to be a good day. A fun day. I was going to the circus and it was going to be so fun. I was so excited. I got here, and everything was so bright and colorful, each of the tents having its own attraction. One for acrobats, one for the clowns, one for snacks that stuck to my fingers. Nothing was wrong. Everything was amazing, until the last one. This one. Don't know what it was, but I walked in, and the brightness and joy and colors of the fun day I was having froze. Everything stopped. The world stopped. Time stopped. Or maybe it was just me. Can't leave now, and I couldn't leave then. Couldn't move, and I didn't know why. I still don't. So I waited, and I wait. I'm still waiting, but now I'm tired too. It isn't dark here, but isn't bright either. Kinda like I'm in the shade. Maybe I'll nap. Be less tired, at least. This was a mistake. Such a mistake. They grabbed me. The first touch I could feel, and it was vicious. Grabbing hands. They grabbed and pulled and grabbed and pulled until I was shoved into something that became me. First thing they do is sew my mouth into a smile. They say, a smile on you is a smile on them. I don't know who them is. The next thing they do is push and twist and pull. I can stretch this way and that. I can stretch in a way that I know isn't normal, but it's something I can do now. After that, it's the tests. They make me hang onto a bar, which isn't so bad, especially compared to what came before, but they make me hang and hang and hang. They tell me, don't let go or you'll fall. But I can only hold on for so long, and falling a few inches can't hurt worse than this or the stitches and stretches. I was wrong again, of course. I fell and fell and fell. It didn't make sense. I saw it wasn't that high, but I fell so far down. I hit the floor and I could feel my bones snapping and cracking, and through that I could hear them say, "Well, we warned you." I passed out, and when I woke, I was fine, but I was before the same bar. I hung on for longer that time. Or I tried to, but I fell and it repeated and repeated. I don't know how many times it happened, but eventually I hung on. And for some reason, this time they deemed it good enough. The last thing they did was some more stitches, but this time it was strings. They stitched strings into me, a puppet's strings. They made me dance and jump and spin and twirl. They made me perform. After that, I was passed on to other people and brought to a place where I've been, a place with fun and color and sun. It was the circus, the same circus with the tent where I couldn't move from. I was brought back to that very same tent, the tent that stopped everything, the tent that stopped me. I realized then I was supposed to perform. I didn't want to. But the strings were there and I had no choice, so I did. I saw into the crowd, I looked. I looked because I had nothing else to do while the strings made me perform. And I saw one I knew who would be next. So, take my advice. Do not enter the last tent, for if you do, you will be met with the same fate. You will be lost and masked and be made to perform.
What the heck? How am I gonna go after you? What is wrong with you're so nervous and then all of a sudden you're like, I am a voice actress. I am a voice actress.
You over exaggerate.
I am not. That was like you gave me goosebumps. Either that
Well, I guess I did my job right at least.
Yeah, I mean, it's either that or it's just because I'm deathly scared of like circuses in general.
Yeah, I may have used that to my advantage.
Bro, did you choose that to scare me personally?
No.
Gosh, I wouldn't put it past you though. But girlies in hell,
Yeah.
could never be me because I'd never enter a circus willingly.
Yeah, I mean, I took that into consideration, so it's like, hopefully someone in the audience would be willing to enter a circus.
Goodness
Hopefully.
gracious. Goodness gracious. That's such a good story though.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. They made her into a freaking a performer. Like
Yeah.
it was very Coraline, you know? Very Coraline. Kind of had the same vibe. Like
I based it off of one nightmare that I had.
wait, excuse me, you based it?
Yeah, the beginning it had something different. Like it was like they were like staying with like, what do you call it? Like they were still stuck in some place, but that bit was a little bit longer because they were like accompanied by like someone, like there was someone else with them. Like for me it was like I had a nightmare where like I disappeared and like no one could see me. It was like my mom next to me who was crying, but then I ended up deleting that and changing it around.
Oh my gosh. Wait, is there like any credits to the story? So like you like edited a little bit, but can you like tell the audience who like wrote it if it isn't you?
No, it was me.
All of it?
Yeah.
Holy smokes, Bree. That's so good. What the heck?
I was like, because the internet wasn't working, so I was like, all right, you know what? This is my last option. I'll copy Kieran.
Oh my god.
Then the internet came back, and I found a second one, so this one I ended.
Dude, you can be in my creative writing class and you'd win. I'm telling. We're doing a suspense and horror story this unit for the Halloween. You would win.
You flatter me, but thanks.
No, I mean it. That was so good. I really thought someone else wrote it because I was like, what is taking Bree so long, you know? Like,
I mean, I did look for one, but I
did hear clacking. I heard clacking. I was like, what is she?
Like, she was researching a lot of different keywords.
Yeah. I was like,
Everything I was finding was, like, official books that wouldn't give me the full version. They were either, like, really long books or, like, very well-known books, like by Edgar Allan Poe, the Heart Tale. I forgot what it's called.
The Telltale
Or it was
Heart.
2-sentence horror story. So I was like, I'm gonna have to improvise, aren't I?
Oh my gosh. And you really tried to get away with the fact that you wrote it. Like, you weren't even gonna tell me. Excuse me.
I was debating. I was like, I could not mention it, or I could.
But I really liked it. Like, that's one of the better, like, horror stories I've heard. Because usually it's, like, based on jump scares and, you know, creepy stuff. But this was more like feeling, right? It was just, like, circumstances you know you can't get out of, like, where you lose your own control. And that's where most people would get, like, more terrified of, other than, like, phobias. And you, like, nailed it. You, like, nailed that. What the heck?
I'm so happy because honestly, the nightmare is based off of, like, the only reason it qualified as a nightmare is because I woke up and I was ready to be like, I hated it. So, like, like a similar nightmare experience is you're running, but you're running through jam.
Oh my god.
I was like, alright, let me use this as a basis. I might as well. You know, it was either that nightmare or the nightmare where I was being chased by a monster with my whole family and the car was alive. The car was a part of the family, of course, but...
You, like, I mean, I've heard the nightmare. You, like, told me about it. But, like, I've never heard your writing style, so that was such a surprise. Like, it's such a pleasant surprise at that. It was so good.
I was
like, is this the Magnus Archives right now? Because, like, it felt so real, and you put it into, like, I studied voice acting, and as far as I know, you haven't. So, like, that was so good.
My first writing was supposed to be a fan fiction. This horror story was not supposed to be my first one. I'm gonna be honest here.
You could, like, publish it as a small thing. Oh my god.
Yes, I will become a billionaire off of this. Yes.
A billionaire. Yes.
Funny.
Hello. I'm not even, like, sugarcoating, because you know what I'm. Most people probably know when I'm lying or embellishing, but I mean it. That was so good, Bree.
Because I actually had no idea where to go after the whole I couldn't move part. And, like I came up with a backstory. Okay, fun day at the circus. Now what? I have no idea. World stops. Nobody can see him anymore. But that was way too like, it was less than half of the rest that I ended up coming up with. And I was like, uh-oh, now what do I do? And I'm like, okay, you're going to be forced to perform. And at the very end, it's going to be a warning to the listener/reader. And then I had to come up with a way that they made him perform. And I was like, okay, you know what's creepy? Creepy smiles. Yeah. So that was, like, inspiration from, like, Joker stuff and I can't remember. Oh, like creepypasta, like Jack
the Killer.
Yeah, the guy with the burned face and the cutout smile. So something like that I base it off of. And then I was like, okay, well, now I gotta turn her into a performer. So let's see. Like, they're gonna stretch her. And then acrobats, they hang on. They gotta be strong. So let's make her strong. And I was like, okay, wait a minute. This isn't horror. All right, let's break her bones a little bit.
Let's break her bones. But like, I'm like appalled. It took you 30 minutes to do that. I didn't time it, but the waiting time I had was like around 30 minutes for that. And the amount of connections you made in like 30 minutes, what the heck? You have like no writer's block. What was that? That came out of your butt.
I started before we started going on the call, so I mean it was a little longer.
That's still like an hour. Do you know how long creative writing takes? It takes like weeks to finish 2 pages of stories because people are so busy trying to figure it out, and you just took that out of your butt, man. You took that out of your butt.
I did not.
No,
it was out of my brain.
Okay.
Maurice, come on, my butt.
It's still so good though. Like you just wanked it out of wherever. Just like,
where did you get wanked? Oh my gosh.
I wanted to say yank, but it came out wrong.
Oh, that explains it.
Oh wait.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm happy it was good. I was about to bail on it, like at the beginning of the writing, halfway through the writing. But then once I got far enough, I was like, too late. But then at the end, I was like, maybe I'll just go find a different short story.
No, I am glad you did that, because that was probably better than most of what you would find, because those are like stereotypical, you probably know what's gonna happen at the end. But this literally was just like, okay, and then what? Because you're given like bits and pieces of information. This is what I've learned in creative writing. You just give enough information so that the reader can keep guessing what's happening, but they'll never like get it correct. But you give them enough to work with while also like blindsiding them. So like you have such good literary technique and you don't even know.
Oh wow. Like, you're very kind.
No, I'm not. This is constructive.
I like constructive is good. Yeah, okay, so this is a secret all along. This episode is actually my debut as a professional writer. I have a Twitter, Instagram. Go check my Tumblr. Yep, totally gonna be professional writing now. I'm leaving the podcast and starting my own story thing.
On Tumblr?
I couldn't think of anything else besides Twitter and Instagram, okay? What am I gonna say? Snapchat? Check out my stories on Snapchat.
Maybe, Wattpad, AO3, a fanfiction site, I don't know. Tumblr.
Tumblr has writing. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah.
It's still so funny, though.
I'm happy you're taking the news that I'm leaving so well.
Oh, yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a joke. I'm joking. Don't kick me out. Don't make plans to replace me. I'm joking.
What am I gonna replace you with? My sister.
Yeah. You can get Rita on board if you pay her.
Pay? Oh, excuse me. I don't have money.
Bold. Oh, that's a shame.
Bold of her to assume that. Excuse me.
Oh my
gosh.
You still got Juniper and Slater.
I don't like them.
Wow. Wow, okay.
They're my siblings, I can say that.
Oh, wow, okay. You're legally allowed.
I am legally allowed, yes. I checked my settings just in case, like, one of my settings was, like, wrong, and it's not. So I had, like, a mini heart attack.
Oh, did you change the settings before?
I did, but I was just, like, I was paranoid. But, like, what the heck? I'm still, like... Wow. I'm still, like... appalled. I was so on the edge of my seat, like, the whole time. I was like, okay, and then what? And then what? You're freaking me here.
Well, I mean, like I said, I was counting on the circus thing.
Yeah, you chose, like, one phobia and you built on it. And when I mean built, I mean you put, like, a skyscraper on it, broski.
I mean, I was like, hey, at the very least, even if my writing is, maybe I could scare one person who is specifically scared of this one thing.
Me? You mean you
But
wanted
don't worry, my
to?
second story though is not from me, and it will scare both of us.
Oh no! Is it spiders?
Just bugs.
Oh. Okay.
I went for things that personally scared me.
Then mine scares me personally because, no spoilers, but it just does. Okay. Like I have a very.
No spoilers. It needs to be a good surprise.
I have a very specific phobia, and I'll get into that later. But oh my gosh. If you have nothing else to say, I have one more thing to say. Nothing? Or are you just gonna...
Hold on, let me think. Do I have anything to say? I thought it was gonna be, no. I thought it was gonna be, I don't know. That was fun and stressful, and a lot of self-doubt.
No! No, never again. Don't do that again. You know what? Because you're good. You're good. You got the juice.
Thank you.
You got the juice.
The juice? Oh my goodness.
You got that brain juice.
Did I ever tell you the title of it?
Oh, no, you did not. I don't think so.
Lost and Masked.
Lost and what?
Mask. Like, you know, like a mask.
Oh, okay. That is...
Oh my gosh, this is horrible. I just clicked on it because I ended up changing the script as I went when I thought it was appropriate, and like last minute I moved out the thing about the family thing. Guess how many words it is? 666.
Whoa! 666!
I'm adding like 2 words because at the end you will be lost and masked and made to perform. There we go.
That is like creepy though.
Yeah, okay, it's
very...
270 now. Absolutely not.
No.
Not in this Catholic story.
Sir, I don't think that came out of you. I think that came out of Satan himself. Oh my god.
No, I don't. Don't do that to me. You're so rude.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. You're funny.
Okay. Wow, okay. Thanks.
You're welcome. Okay. So, your last words, and then we get to hear your story.
Last words are... Bree's Instagram is at Bree Writers Club. I'm kidding, no.
Oh my god.
That's it.
Yes. Go look for it. Let's see if if that's actually someone's account, or if I can take it.
At Bree Writers Club 666.
No. I literally, while I was writing it, and when I got like blocked for a little bit, I put in at the very bottom, "Frick, horror sucks." But I did not censor myself when I was writing.
Oh my gosh, that's a big...
Deleted now, but you know.
Okay, so without further ado, we shall go right into it. The Quarterly Lane case. Name, May Seldom, may be the guilty suspect on accounts of fingerprints at the house. Date, March 28th, 20XX. Issue number 11250, recorded by Madison Mars. That would be me. Okay. I know, I've been finicky for the past few weeks, but I think I finally got myself together. You've already met with John and Dex, right? Then you already know where this is, and that it was around the same time. I know the most that has happened out of all of us. Dex couldn't make it to meet up, so John, Jordan, and I grouped together. I was with my landlord, who just informed me that he bought the house at Quarterly. He noticed that I went there when I was younger and gave me a key on a lanyard and told me to try it out. Andy and I were pretty close when I was really young. He was a friend of a childhood friend of mine. Whatever, not the point. The point is, I did notice black prints on this. I noticed it was still wet and fresh, but Andy's fingers were spotless. You know how it is. See something weird, don't say anything in fear of something bigger, and it wasn't that big anyways, so I didn't think much of it. I grabbed the lanyard and thanked him. I looked up at him, his eyes a weird shade of gold. Of course, again, he never said anything. Who would be stupid enough to point out the weird? Later on, I went to Quarterly Lane with my friends Jordan and John, since Dexter couldn't make it, as you know. The doorknob was covered in dust, the place smelled mossy, and the rotting smell of blood followed us wherever we went. None of us said anything, because we are not that group of friends that would go look for the danger. Except here we were, at the creepy house. Oh my gosh, I get it. You're the stupid college students. We fit the mold of the cliche. Move on. This used to be our playhouse, mind you. Of course, Jordan said he heard clapping. His eyes narrowed, and as if in some kind of trance, he went away. I was alone with John. We sat in eerie silence as Jordan's creaky footsteps no longer filled the empty hallways and rooms. And of course, that is when I noticed it. On the dusty doorknob that Jordan touched, had a black fingerprint. After this astute observation, I went back to look at John, only to realize he wasn't there. When they all disappeared, I felt like my lungs burst and my legs shook an insane amount. 2 of them were missing without a trace. No more footfalls or anything. That is when it started, the magnetic pull. As if on schedule, all my jewelry started to pull away from my body as if someone had just ripped them off of me. The sensation of having every molecule of your body gravitate towards something felt much more evident than being pulled towards her. This house had its own gravity. And as if I was a band-aid being ripped from the skin of a child, I was flung to the door. The air flew out of my lungs with a force that could rival being hit by a train. The pressure against my rib cage gave me pains I haven't felt since I wrestled high school. Every ounce of my free skin oozed away from my framework and pressed against the door. Feeling my own pulse quicken and my breath rapidly increase, I successfully grabbed the knob and creaked it open. I flung towards the center of the room and remained still, silent and scared. My eyes were squeezed shut. Recollecting myself proved the challenge. Swallowing and gasping air, I finally moved my stiff legs from its stone mold, and then clapping. It came in 3 beats. My clean hands trembled under its own pressure to clap. Over my shoulders, I felt a strange tingle, and my hands clapped together. My legs started moving on their own in front of the mirror. My hands were covered in ink, and it kept flowing and flowing. My reflection's eyes rolled back and revealed a new yellow set, and the mirror filled with more fingerprints. White, long, cold fingers emerged from my shadow and grabbed my ankles and pulled me below the ground, an ink bottle being the last thing I see. When I came to, I was on the bottom of a long fall. I was glad I didn't feel anything when I fell, and I immediately went cold. My clothes were stripped and my hair was down. All that remained was my ring. My breath came out in white smoke. The ink still stained my hands, wet and drenched. Everything I touched would show my fingerprints. Walking backwards in fear and confusion, I felt the wall. Skin. Yes, skin. Don't make that face. I felt skin. I turned around and saw a wall of skin and eyes. And a ridiculous amount of hands. Thousands of hands, all clapping differently at different times. My scream got caught in my throat. The smell of rot overwhelmed my nose until it was all I could smell. Its convoluted shape coalesced and separated in gross pulses. Then it whispered, "Eyes, eyes, eyes, hands, hands, hands." It screamed again, shook, and screamed. Falling backwards, I felt a larger pull farther down. Around me were glistening gold, silver, and metals. Watches, bracelets, everything fell, my ring leading me down. My eyes shifted downward, finally facing it. A hexagonal box with red, gold, green, and silver bejeweling it all over. The only thing that disrupted the glowing nature of this jewelry box was the big, freaking black fingerprint. Of course it had to be an other. My core was pulled and tugged. My chest hurt from the constant hyperventilation. I couldn't scream, I couldn't move in fear of breaking from the constant pull. The lid slowly dragged open, showing more body parts. More moving, pulsing, and squirming, more screaming. Everything went blank. Waking up, I felt the warmth of something smooth, soft, and familiar against my skin. The feeling you get after being hugged by someone you love. Then the feeling of someone holding his hand. The warm feeling of being kissed. It all accumulated around me. But when I opened my eyes, my blood ran cold as I understood what surrounded me. Skin. It was everywhere. It was gravitating towards a single point. In this wall of coalesced remains was a point in which they all crowded, reaching, beckoning. Something was outside. Desperate, I used the remaining amount of controls on my legs to trudge amongst the skin that started to emerge with my own. My eyes were heavy, struggling to hold itself open. My arms were heavy too. It moved like molasses towards the point. Opening my hand, I reached out for the outside, and felt something. I dragged it in. It was Dex, warm and heavy. Another pull, another tug. My hand shot upward, my ring guiding me along. Using my remaining strength, I grabbed Dex, praying to anything that this meant another gravitational pull. Then we shot out. When I woke up, Dex was beside me on the kitchen floor. Jordan was hunched over next to the table, and John was curled next to the wall. All of them had the same marks. A hand burned on the right bicep. I didn't have that. I instead had ink permanently on my hand, shining in the dim light. I ran to them, constantly checking for any signs of life. When I finally figured they would be okay, I lay on the floor waiting for them to wake up too. Unfortunately, no one knew enough what happened. Dex only remembered falling, John remembered only a void, and Jordan only remembered looking into a mirror. So it obviously looked like I did this. Don't give me that look. I'm aware of how twisted and supernatural all sounds. Believe me, when I woke up that day, I half expected it was. But her disappearance, everything, it wasn't me. And this hand thing is not some gross sociopath's mark on their victims. I know what you're all saying. But whatever, take me in for all I care. Just get me as far away from here as possible. Statement ends. Yeah, that was it. So some context.
We're good.
We're good, yeah. So some context. I hate disembodied hands. I hate the feeling of skin. I hate everything about that. and
You wanna? My biggest thought is you're. Kieran, when you used the voice changer, I was not seeing that coming.
Did you
get that part? Like, she is in the midst of this thing, and then you're like, yeah, let me use a voice changer. Are you trying to kill me?
Yeah.
Give me a heart attack.
It's the immersion. What do you mean?
The immersion nearly killed me.
Oh no. Not you. Don't die.
My goodness. I don't mind flesh and hands and disembodied hands, but if you tell me a solid wall of flesh and hands and eyes, I'm gonna...
Ew, right? Ew.
What's wrong with you?
Look, some context for this is that in class for creative writing, you're supposed to look into a bag, and there were 3 items in there that you had to incorporate, which was the ink bottle, the jewelry box, and the lanyard with the key. And I was like, I don't know what to do with the jewelry box, so apparently now she's falling towards a gigantic jewelry box, and that's what was happening there, if it wasn't that clear, because I know sometimes I'm not as clear as I want to be when I know what's happening.
Okay.
It was a contest.
That was good, though. Oh,
thanks. It was a contest, so I won.
Oh my god, of course you did. You're just so good.
I mean, so the thing with contests at my school, in that class, I mean, was that it's like more of a democracy in which she would put us into like groups. She'd give us a certain amount of works, and then we choose from those groups 5 different winners, right? So then for this one, there was 3 winners. So it was those 3, and then 3 people would read these, and she gave it out to the people who volunteered to read, and obviously I like reading, so I was like, okay, I'll read one. And she gave me mine. She did not know. And I was I'm half convinced I won because I read it the way I did now. And since I knew how to read it, she was like, that was yours, wasn't it? I was like, yeah, it was mine. She was like, there's almost like no way you could have done it in that way if you didn't know it was yours. It's like, you're right, but
yeah. Oh my goodness. Wow. It was a sign.
It was I was like, I'm winning, aren't I? Yeah, I think
I'm Amazing.
It's
You would have
fun.
won even if it was somebody else.
I don't know. I feel like I added to the ambiance. I'm gonna be honest.
The story was creepy in a good way because it's horror, so it's supposed to be creepy. But like, falling in, you can't move, some flesh thing.
And it's like merging with your skin. It's disgusting. I hated it. Do you know how many times I had to go over this because I just could not write that day? I was just like, I can't read it. I can't look at it. This is giving me tingles. Like gross tingles.
My goodness.
I was like, ew.
Man, I was trying to think like I should come up with comment like while I was listening. I was like, okay, let me come up like let me note stuff down in my mind like what I should comment on. But then I got absorbed and I forgot about thinking.
You got absorbed like May almost did.
Wow, oh, that was May?
Yeah, so I did it in the way the Magnus Archives did it, where I'm the archivist, Madison Mars, and this was the case of May. This is her case study.
Oh.
And
okay,
you
I did not do that. Like,
you know these names because I use them in my stories, and I just kind of repurpose them here.
Yeah, I know. It's like Dex, John. Wow, Dex, John, and Jordan. Ooh, I know these people. I somehow forgot that May, and then I guess I didn't hear if you did mention.
I said it in the beginning, like
yeah. Then okay. Sorry, my bad, but I heard the rest. I heard Madison Mars.
Oh, that's my microphone. My one
dropped something.
I dropped the stand. My one thing was like I wish I was a little bit more clear because like before all this, before I wrote this, I had thingies in my journal, right? So there had to be a journal in English class last year, and I was making this story apparently, but like in the other perspective. So I already made Jordan's and I already made Dex's perspective on this. So if there was a lot of like missing pieces, it's because there was more that I've never like edited. It's just there.
So like from their perspective, but not.
Yes, so Dex so apparently so context, right? So for the people so obviously no one knows what was going on except me. And I read it because I couldn't read all of it because that would be like long. Like one was like long enough. And I was like, I'm not gonna read all of them because it's just not, plausible. So basically, what happened was that the first person I wrote about was Dex, right? So this is Dex's point of view at first, and Dex basically his friends gone missing. Actually, they have never existed. So they're like, I know they existed before. I gotta go find them. So he knows exactly where they are. He goes to the Quarterly Lane house and he gets sucked into it in a different way in which he gets grabbed by a figure in the shadows. And then something happens and he starts free falling where all the hands are reaching for him, which was happening in May's perspective. And then he gets grabbed and pulled in, and that's all he remembered. And May's the one who grabbed him, obviously, because I just read that. So Jordan apparently... So the one I wrote for Jordan was much shorter. So he was back in by the clapping. He heard clapping, and he was like, okay, I'm going to investigate, because I'm stupid. So... sorry. So,
wow. Jordan died. All right.
Jordan is canonically stupid. But Jordan... I love him, but he can be dumb. So he went there, and then he noticed that his reflection was a little bit different, in which his eye color was different. And he gets pulled in through the mirror, and that's all he remembered. I never wrote John's. I don't remember anymore what I said he remembered, so I can't really base off what I think happened. But yeah, so basically they come back after being missing, but at first they just didn't exist. And Dex found them.
Oh, okay.
That was it.
I like how that like tied into the end where like she was mentioning like I know like this is what they only remember, and then like it tied into like the other stories, and I didn't even realize until you told me now.
Well, yeah, I wish I could have read the other stories, but they're much longer than this one. Like Dex. I know these characters, right? These are my babies. So May is one who like just goes straight into it. She knows exactly what she's gonna say. This is what she's gonna say. Jordan will leave out a lot of like he's gonna have holes because he's more like terrified of what happened. And Dex is a writer. So his story is like 6 pages long.
It just reminds me of that one thing that's like some kind of like trooper guy was looking for a missing guy and then described the missing guy and it was like long tangled locks in his description report. Is that what Dex is like?
In the Magnus archives? Absolutely.
Oh my goodness.
Dex gets carried
the
away.
thing that was most going back to like the May story, the thing that was most icky, like if I heard correctly, she like her hair was down and her clothes were like missing. So imagine being in like that mass of flesh and ink and it's against bare skin. Like you don't even have like the barrier of clothes. Like you're not just feeling that on your arms and your face, you're feeling that on your back, on your leg, like.
Wow, you really thought about this because I did think about this because I'm the writer. But like just the feeling of being that vulnerable in a situation you don't know how to get out of is terrifying, you know?
like just thinking, like imagine just anonymous flesh monster touches the small of your back. Like, okay, I don't like that.
Ew.
This is your story. If I'm gonna suffer, so are you.
I've been suffering when I wrote this. Like, I told you, I took lots of breaks in between this because I could not. I couldn't.
Hello and welcome to
What was that? Did you just start playing the intro? Is the recording even going right now?
It is. I don't know what happened.
My goodness, Kieran. Of course you did that.
That was funny.
No, better than the testing audio.
Hello and welcome to that.
Would you stop that? Why?
Anyway, I like suffered at making that. I did.
But I mean, I like as soon as you started, I was like, oh, I get what she means by the Magnus Archives thing.
Yeah, I was like,
hello.
I swear.
Stop playing that. You need like a second for your tech or.
You're like telling me to stop doing that like I could. Okay.
You're not doing this on purpose?
Why would I?
Okay.
Okay. I think it stopped. But yes.
Hopefully.
It's very heavy on the Magnus Archives because I listened to it.
Yeah, of course. But like this one would like remind me specifically of like the flesh type ones, like the meat ones.
I know, that's exactly what I was thinking. You know that one guy who keeps like the meat wall?
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking about with the skin wall. Yeah. It was that, but everywhere.
Oh my. Ew. And I was about to say it reminds me of the flesh, but it's also got ink, and I was like, oh right, it was an assignment. The ink was.
Excuse me? Are you spoiling right now?
How am I spoiling?
What are you saying? Never mind, don't tell me.
No, I'm not talking about the Magnus Archives. I'm talking about your story.
Oh yeah.
How like you were linking it, so I was like, it reminds me of the Magnus Archives flesh type ones, but with ink, and I was like, oh right, it was part of the assignment.
Yeah. I needed the ink. I did it. She like gave me a bottle, and I had no idea what it was. I was just like, it's a bottle.
Is this a bottle?
I'm like, Ink? Ink? Sure. Ink. Ink's fine.
I mean, it worked well because it was like imagine just ink. Like it's dark. It's gonna be dark. And what do you know? What is the consistency of ink? I'm not exactly sure.
Like loose and drippy.
Okay. Yeah. So it's like if you were in a void, but there was water instead, like as a floor,
I don't
and then
like
there
the
was
water.
flesh, and then ink in the flesh on the flesh.
Ew.
Oh my gosh, even worse. So you know the thing I said was imagine like a anonymous flesh monster touching the small of your back. Imagine a moist.
Ew, stop! Don't say moist! Why did you say moist?
Well, it's your story.
Ew, I never said moist in my story, did I?
Not, but you said ink, and it was like you said drippy consistency, so I was like, okay, like water.
Ew.
Moist.
Ew. I mean, it's not.
I'm sorry.
Ew. Ew. I don't like it. I don't like that you said that to me. How dare you?
Wow, so mean.
Me and my stuttering. Also, I have this dream, and it's to be Jonathan Sims at Archivist at the Magnus Institute. That was it. That was the bit.
What? That was...
Like, this man, he's so relatable. And I don't like how relatable he is because he's unhinged.
That doesn't sound like a good sign. Have you seen him in season 2?
That's exactly where I thought, wow, how relatable. That was the season.
Oh my gosh.
Have
you thought about therapy?
That was the season where I was like, wow, okay, now he really is like me. Because first season I was like, I can see a lot of like similarities. And then season 2 like sold it. I'm paranoid. I'm like, that's me on a downward spiral. Like if I spiraled one day, that was gonna be me. That would
do not spiral.
Yeah.
I want to make a cup of coffee for you, and then you pull a knife on me or something.
just here, Kieran, have some coffee.
I'm so tired. You and your stuff, Kieran.
No, but if I was in that situation, like mood, like I'm gonna get to the bottom of this. I'm not getting out of this. I'm gonna understand this because I can't not understand this. Please. No, yeah.
Of course.
I'm crazy. I don't know.
Just a little bit.
You know, I think that showed a little bit in the blooper reel. I don't know if you watched that one.
Which episode?
It was the blooper one.
There's only one blooper one?
Yeah, there's only one.
I thought there was 2.
No, just one.
Well, I have not watched it.
Well, there was one part where I sounded insane because Slater's audio...
Oh, you were talking to yourself?
Yeah, Slater's audio did not go through, and I accidentally put in horror music behind it, so it sounds terrifying.
Oh my goodness. You told me about that one, but I have not heard it personally.
It's disturbing. It sounds like me on a bad day.
I don't know how bad it is, but now I'm curious.
I mean, I do get those days where I'm like batch crazy. I said the S word.
The bat threw it off.
Yeah,
the bat part.
Yeah, I thought the crazy was the place where I was supposed to censor, and then I was like, wait a minute. I'll just cut that out. I'll just cut that out.
Oh, you cut it? Okay.
I'll cut it, because I don't want to get in trouble. You want me to get in trouble? Excuse me.
No, never.
Oh, wow.
What was that?
I thought I've been trapped off. Wow. No one has ever asked me about my theories. No one has ever asked me about my theories. Hold on. I made a model.
Oh, my god.
What?
I'm dead.
Oh. Eddie,
Why? Why you sound like her?
what do you mean, why do I sound like her?
On point.
Oh,
Amazing.
really? I put there was a British accent somewhere, or I said y'all. I'm not really sure. I did a little twang somewhere. I don't know why.
I did not notice.
I
I'm
said
very bad with accents, though.
Yeehaw.
So. But imagine Entrapta with a cowboy hat.
She'd need a really big cowboy hat.
Well, I mean, I'm like, not her hair doesn't have to go like it could also be a really small cowboy hat because she likes small foods. Maybe she likes small hats, and it'd be like in between her pigtails.
I think that's cuter. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It could be attached to her goggles, like it's on a stick, and then it looks like the hat on top.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. We're off topic though.
We are.
Let's keep talking about Entrapta. Amazing.
Love Entrapta. Any last words, since we're on like the 20-minute mark of us commenting on my thingy?
Okay, moist flesh.
Ew! Oh my god.
That's it. That's my last words. Enjoy.
Okay, and without further ado, the last one. So apparently there was another thingy for my story, and it was Ava. Ava was another person in my story, and she does have one. And unfortunately, we don't have the rights to, like, put in, like, stories from online. So we're gonna have to use one of my Quarterly Lane stories, and depending on how we feel, we can both read it, or Brie could just read on her own. So let's get on with it. PSA, there has been no edits on this one. I'm sorry, guys. Let's get on.
Name, Dexter Maki. Date, March 17th, 20XX. Issue number 11245. Recorded by Baddison Mars. I've always had a hard time making friends. I don't think I'm a bad person to hang out with, but I know I tend to be quiet and alone and unheard. But middle school was the breakaway from this cycle of loneliness. I was adopted into a small group. These consisted of Jordan, John, and May. I'm not good at describing them, but I could tell you that they were the tightest of any set of people I've met. They never made me feel invisible or alone, and they were all comfortable, no matter what combination of people they decided to hang out with. And I was no exception. There was this one time in the park where I'm rambling again. I'm sorry. I tend to do that. Anyways, about their disappearance, I know they existed. I am sure of it. I could never make this up, but ever since they left no traces. I mean, it wasn't even gradual. They just disappeared. I don't even know how to tell you this without sounding crazy, but they aren't even in the school system. They were not even in the memories of my classmates. They just vanished. I've never believed in the supernatural. I'm actually quite a skeptic, and I tend not to let my emotions get the best of me. But I could swear that something was not natural about this whole ordeal. One day, they were there, and the next, gone. But this is not the reason I wrote this. No, this entry has nothing to do with their disappearance. More about what happened when I looked for them. I decided to go to the place where they went last. The old place across the street. I think it was something Quarterly Lane. I'm not good at memorizing addresses, but I remember using the old place as a secret hideout of sorts. I don't know. When we went to college, we couldn't hang out as much, but Jordan and John went to the same university. So I think when May visited, they went there. I was gonna meet them the next day. The very next day. I could have gone earlier, but I was just busy and a bit lazy. Anyways, when I made it across the street to Quarterly House, I was suddenly struck by the eerie silence. Of course, this place was abandoned, but every time I went here, there would be laughter and the bustling of my friends playing some stupid game with the wooden boards. The old house screamed of silence, and the dust and dirt had piled up since last I was in here. I walked along the incomplete construction, the incomplete renovation, and I was hooked by the sound of a floorboard creaking. I skidded around the corridor into a hallway where I faced a mirror. My dark brown hair was disheveled, my cheeks were already covered in dust, and my eyes, they were green. They were now yellow. Suddenly, in front of my reflection was the face of a man with yellow, cat-like eyes. His nose, dangerously long and sharp. His teeth were sharp and his tongue was slit. He stared back at me, and I snapped my neck behind me. Nothing. I looked back at the mirror, and it was only me with my green eyes. I tripped over backwards from my spot in front of the mirror. My heart suddenly kept up with my racing thoughts, and my head started to spin. I shuffled backwards from my spot, and I suddenly heard a splintering noise from below me. My beating heart held still when I realized what was about to happen. The floor gave way to my weight, and I fell for what seemed like forever below the house. Or was it actually forever? How long has it been since the floorboards gave way? It's been 5 minutes, give or take. And with each minute that passed, the adrenaline gave way, and I suddenly felt tired. The dark that surrounded me was empty, but not comforting like it tends to be. After another 30 seconds of falling, I noticed the hands. Hundreds of thousands of white, pale, long-fingered hands reaching out to grab me. I took all of my remaining strength to free fall and avoid the long, nailless fingers, my heart beating in the base of my throat. In the next 10 seconds, I heard the voice.
Hello?
And I heard another. Eyes. And another, echoing the last two, and this went on until the sounds of these eerie voices called and filled the darkness. I closed my eyes. By instinct and fear of what the voices meant, I lost control of my free fall, and I felt something grip the back of my shirt and the collar of my shirt pressed against my throat. I think what happened next was that I woke up. I could still feel all the hands gripping on me, and the sensation of it on my limbs has been scorched, and I will forever feel it. Just like now, I still do, even after all these weeks. I remember getting up and looking around in the large darkness. Darkness was a place, and I haven't learned that until that very moment. I trudged along for what seemed like days in the barren wasteland of this never-ending darkness. I hoped and pleaded for a way out, for someone to find me, for I felt like if they didn't, I would cease to exist. Then that was when I heard the voice again. With no one but me in the darkness, the voice filled the entire plane. It called out to me. Ice. Its distorted breath choked. At that point, what else was there to do but close my eyes? Louder it screamed, louder it choked and cawed and beckoned, all with the same horrid, distorted voice like static in an old tape or underwater voices. None of that. It could not be recreated by a human voice or by anything in existence. Then I felt the hands again. 3 pairs of long arms with the hands reached from the darkness behind me, and all I could do was brace myself.
Name, Ava Ford. Date, January 14th, 20XX. Issue number 11244. Recorded by Medicine Mars. Do not work at the abandoned house in Quarterly Lane. If I had a quarter for the amount of times I heard clapping, I would be rich. No, not applause, and no, I was not in a crowd, but whenever I was alone, just a single pair of hands clapping. Sure, I found this weird when I was, say, 7, but after the first couple dozen times, I barely acknowledged them. Heck, I may have enjoyed them too, clapping me on no matter what I was doing. I was barely 17 when it ceased after I moved to an obscure town in Chicago. I had not noticed until I was alone in my room one day, and I noticed a silence. Then it struck me that it had stopped. I suppose I should be grateful that it went away, since whenever I explained it to someone, they recommended a therapist, but the silence was eerie. Then I had a job when I was 19, in the town I grew up in. The job was simple: pick up the mess and put it in the bag. I worked in an abandoned home, trying to tidy it up. This was just a temporary job so I could pay rent this month. The other workers would renovate when I finished. I went into the house for the first time. Alone the week I was hired. Stepping in, I was rushed with the smell of mold and dust. But what really disturbed me was the smell of rot. It had barely been a second walking in when the smell entered my system. I gagged and choked on the smell. There had been no reports of rotting smells or even a dead body. But the more I entered, the more sure that must have been what I was smelling. Sure enough, after another minute, I heard it. My heart skipped a beat when I heard the sound again, this time faster and more urgent. My muscles throbbed when I saw a pair of hands from the shadows clapping at me. The hands were milk white, wrinkles in places of fingernails, fingers long enough to be inhumane, and palms rid of wrinkles. They clapped in intervals, increasingly getting faster with each turn. I urged my feet to leave the house to do anything but go near it, but I could no longer feel my legs as they were moving closer to the pair of hands. With each step I took, the more rapid it was. The smaller the time in between terms, the more eager it looked. I was right in front of it when I saw the shadow of a face, 7 feet above my own, staring at me. The clapping ceased and the hands reached toward me. At this point, I could no longer move and the voice echoed around the room, though the shadow seemed to not have opened its mouth. I have been waiting for you. Clever going to a place that could not reach you. But now you have foolishly won it back. Thank you. He grabbed me and pulled me into the shadows. Madison. You said Madison.
I did. Because you are Madison. I am Madison. Yeah, because it's so funny.
Oh my gosh. That's so...
Yeah, isn't that funny?
Yeah. We're siblings, yes. Madison and Madison Mars.
No, actually, they are completely unrelated. It is a complete coincidence that their name, that they have the same last name, and that their first names are so similar. It's a complete and utter coincidence.
Okay. Well, I'm
the first time that they've ever met. No, they haven't met. They're just working together on this case, and they don't know it. Yep.
Their dad had an affair and named one Madison, the other Madison.
Yeah, so if he says the wrong name, he won't be... no one will be like,
It would be more like, haha, you're making a spin on it, right? And he'd be like, yeah, of course I am.
Yeah, like mad, bad, you know, like those are words.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just a mispronunciation sometimes.
But like, yes, you are very good at that. I'm more scared of like the continuity issues because like I never edited these. So like the May one I went in knowing about it, but I haven't read all of it thoroughly. These were like on the spot journals for English class, and then I made May's this year, so I didn't exactly know like 1000% of like what I was gonna do. So if there was some issues, don't come at me.
No, never. It's still good anyways. Nobody needs to focus on little details that may or may not be there.
Exactly. May. You're not funny.
Wow. Wow, you know what? You're just cranky because it's like late for you. You're just cranky because you don't have enough sleep. Whatever, it's okay. I forgive you.
Sure. Anyway,
I don't know why I bother with you anymore.
Wow.
I'm joking. I love you. You're great. You're the best. You're the worst cousin named Kieran I've ever had.
I hate you.
I love you too. No, I don't. You're the worst.
How dare you?
Man, I'm tired.
You all took it up. Ow, my teeth.
Karma.
But yeah, did you like the stories?
Yes, I did.
I can't get over yours. I'm gonna be honest, I can't.
Mine is old news. We're talking about yours now.
No, I liked yours. It's Compliment Brie Day. Excuse me.
What?
No, it's Compliment Brie Day. That excuse me was supposed to have more sass in it, but it just sounded like I had to go.
My goodness.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, we already finished the commentary for that one.
Which one?
Mine. We're talking about yours now.
Yeah, but what is your content? What is it to comment on?
How cool? I don't know. Like everything else you've been commenting on?
I mean, it's cool, maybe, but it's mine, so like I can't say it. What am I gonna say? Oh wow, I'm so good writing. Wow, yes, I can write.
Well, I'm gonna have to comment on Ava's only because Dex's took a lot out of me, and I could barely. I was like, okay, say the words and don't mess up. Say the words and don't change any words either. I may have changed like one word.
No, yeah, that's
It was
fine.
like it was supposed to say deal, but then I said ordeal. I was
yeah.
like, oh man, now I messed up.
I think ordeal fit better though.
Hooray! I didn't mess it up. Hooray!
Why would I get mad? It was fine. It worked. No one would notice, and now you told the audience.
Oh,
I'm joking. It's fine.
okay, they don't have the transcript anyways, so they'd have to listen, and then it's an extra view for us, so good enough.
Yeah, it's not like I'm uploading these and scripting them and putting it up. No, I'm not.
Yeah, no, everyone knows from our like prologue episode what we sound like when we're reading a script.
Yeah, we sound robotic and we sound the same.
You know, Rita and Unnamed literally commented like, "You sound so fake."
They said we sounded alike too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm focusing on the negative.
That was not a negative.
No, I'm focusing on the fact that they said we sounded like both, or actually, I don't know if it was only Unnamed. I don't know. It might have been one of them.
I think it was Unnamed.
Yeah, and they were like, "You sound so fake to me," and that hurt my feelings. I want a public apology and $10,000.
I thought you were gonna say a 10,000 word essay, but you said $10,000. So.
No, why would I want an essay? I want money.
That's fair. That's absolutely fair.
Yeah.
Anyway, Halloween, right? Good. Love Halloween.
Spooky.
Everyone enjoy your Halloween. And would they kill me if we made a different outro for this day?
Well, I might, because you didn't tell me the other outro.
It's just changing Hotpockets to candy.
I'll do the outro is my job.
Okay.
Okay, now go radiate your favorite Hot Pockets and boil some candy. Good night.
That is not what I meant, but yes, goodbye.